Morning, everybody, and happy Thursday. Okay, so today we're going to do some more work on where we were on my Brent list. Hope Brent is okay with the fact that I keep calling it the Brent list. Feel like uh, he probably is all right with it, but just in case, I'm sorry, man, if you're not. So, my Brent list, if you're wondering, we talked about this a couple of other times ago. A few days back during the show, Brent and I were talking about the idea of breaking down the script, and I keep bringing this up because if you are a comic artist and you do comics, this is and you're a manga artist like I am and do it by yourself. Um, this is a great way to do this. I do a very specific method of um, of writing. The comics that I write are very specific in that I use 3D a lot to compensate for um, time. So in order to make it faster, I use 3D I use maquettes to pre-pose the scenes. I use 3D models to set the stage. Um, and I do all of that so that we can get to the point where we are firing it off really, really quick. Good morning, Brent. We're talking about the Brent list, which I hope you're okay with it being called the Brent list because I like this. Um, but if you're a comic artist and this is one of your things, then this is a great thing that we're doing here. We kind of are pioneering new areas. If you were a traditional artist, what we would be doing at this point in time is character sketches and character designs and set sketches and things like that. Well, since the sets will be built and then we will render them, we don't need to set sketch. I can just build the sets and go, yeah, it looks right, and then move stuff around. Yeah, that looks good. And then move stuff around. It looks better, and fuss with it. Well, we did do some fussing with the uniforms and stuff like that, and we've been kind of going through iteration after iteration after iteration. And yesterday, we built some 3D models to go with the uniforms. And I went on ahead and did some work on that to give us a much more advanced uniform thing. And I went on ahead and put that into into the program DAS, and I've got it here. We're going to work on that a little today. Um, and I was originally working with Bennett because she was the largest character. She's the biggest female of the lot. So I figured that would give us the maximum size of things that we'd have to deal with. But then I moved back to Chang because the truth is this is taking a lot of effort and time to bring in all these objects. And I'm trying to figure out how to do it best way so that I can just add them. But it probably will mean that I need to add them as clothes for Daz Studio, and I've never done clothes before. So, because I don't use Daz Studio for what it's intended to be used for. But the Brent list is this beautiful list that Brent and I came up with a week ago, which I think, Brent, you're the only one here right now. So I'm talking at you about you in the third person. Anyway, we broke down all of the scenes here on this list. And those are all the scenes. And then these are all the objects in each scene, like a set or characters or things like that. And then once we did that, we sort of made a to-do list out of that, which is great. So we're working on the to-do list. The first thing on the to-do list is to finalize these uniforms. The design I'm happy with. I'm totally happy with the design and where we were on this design. It is all good. What I'm working on now is we added little objects to be flared on here. And unfortunately, I can't seem to do anything except add frickin' Bennett every time to these scenes. And I don't want Bennett in each one of these scenes. So we have to go through and reorganize this. I don't want to do that. So we can delete this version of Bennett. So I actually went through yesterday and reorganized these. Come on, parameters. They don't actually need to be rotated. All of this stuff doesn't need to rotate. All it needs to rotate is this 180. I went and lined up things. So last night, yesterday, I was doing work on this and um, got it very lined up. So things are much closer to what they should be. Come on, come on, come on. Work with me here. Right. So go to the front view and tilt this down. So we're like so. There we go. So this icon here is center on what you're working on. So you can see I've already sort of set it up so that it doesn't have to be perfect because we're redrawing over this. So it doesn't ever have to be aligned perfectly. It has to be aligned perfectly, but it doesn't have to be like these two lines don't match perfect, and that's okay. I'm not that worried. We just need to make sure that greave is not actually on her wrist so that her hand has the ability to move. So we need to make sure it's past this joint right here. Right there, see that joint? So I went also on ahead, and one of the things that our maquettes were not doing was they were not in the correct color scheme. I had a and I guess really my intention was that I never want to put it to the point where I just decide to just render the maquettes and not redraw. So I wanted to prevent that from occurring. Um, so uh, I don't want to get to the point where I'm comfortable just rendering the maquettes. I think the personality in my comic comes from the drawing, the actual lines. So I don't want to ever. I feel like sometimes I slide, and this is all part of that imposter syndrome that I suffer from. Because of course that's a ridiculous problem. It's a ridiculous concern. Um, so the other thing is I had a multi-purpose uniform going, which had every detail from every uniform on it. But it was causing confusion because the mess dress uniforms have a band across here that's the double-breasted uniform part from that dress uniform, and then the belt, and it looked different than um, the actual service uniform, and we were having issues. So I went on ahead, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a maquette for each outfit. Um, there's a maquette for this, there's a maquette for that, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We'll just have a maquette, and I'll just have three maquettes, one for nothing on, one for service uniform, one for dress uniform. And then I'm actually going to make another which will have lines like where short sleeves should be, and it's nothing but a white sort of grid for the characters so that I can do, you know, they're wearing this outfit, but I don't want to design the outfit, or I want to design the outfit, but I don't want to run it, you know, sort of thing. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's totally, and I have to keep reminding myself of that one comic. There is one manga out there, a very famous one, and people read it all the time. And the author is doing the exact same method. He's been using Poser since '99, which is what I've been using. And now I think he's moving on to Clip Studio because he likes the Clip Studio paints looks. I don't move on to Clip Studio only because the Clip Studio paints maquettes are really rough to deal with. But I mean, he's been doing that too. I like it because when you have a character like Chang, she's got ghost eyes right now because we're still mapping her. She has all these little freckles. And using the maquettes means that I always get the freckles in the exact same space every time. She always has this freckle and this freckle instead of just having random freckles that as she wanders through life, her freckles just, doodly, doodly, doodly all the time, which is what would happen if I were hand drawing her every time. She'd just have freckles that just keep moving. So that's definitely a plus on the side. And like her eyebrows are always going to be the same. You know what I mean? Like things like that. That's extremely useful. And so, and little things like keeping the collar of it's all good. And yeah, of course. I mean, the truth is that I'm an imposter only to me. And I'm very open about using maquettes. Like I use them all the time and stuff because it goes faster. Can I draw this by hand? Sure. And that's the other thing is Tuesday nights I go hang out with my buddy Oi Bob and my buddy David. Some of you guys who follow various artists may know Oi Bob. I don't think you guys know David as much, but I go hang out with Oi Bob on Tuesday nights, and I intentionally take just paper and pencil with me and then draw people. And I intentionally do that to make sure that I can still draw people without the maquettes and to ensure that it still takes way too long to do it manually. But anyway, neither here nor there. The reality here is that I have a reason for doing the maquettes, and I feel like I have to defend it all the time, and I don't. I really don't have to defend it. It's so funny. So the TLDR on this is we're going to work on putting in the greaves and things like that, and it's just going to be a pain in the butt for a minute or two here while we get this loaded in. And so this is the left leg. I'm just gonna move all this stuff over to Chang for the moment. And then we can delete this Bennett. And they'll all be there. We need a right arm pocket. And in fact, I should have done this the first time. The right arm greave, which I think is misspelled, which is even funnier. So, whatever. We'll get these placed properly in a minute. Right leg pocket. Hopefully, once we square this away, right leg spat, which I don't think are spats either, but that's okay. Once we get this squared away, she needs her left leg pocket. All right. And I'm just going to zero these guys out. And I mean, I know that I probably go on kind of ad nauseum about imposter syndrome, but it affects a lot of artists, not just me. And I think it's important to note that we can be successful even with dumb imposter syndrome. Oh, oh, that's right. The grieve is needs to be. You guys both need to be like start messing with stuff. All right, you zero you out. This is flipped, so we're gonna have to figure out which one goes the wrong direction. And right leg is this one. So this one's the one that's flipped. They're both flipped. So now we've messed you up. Sorry. 180 out. I'll go to the top view. And I'm kind of hoping that I won't have to do this for every one of these guys. But like I said, I'll have to figure out how to make the we'll have to figure out how to make these into clothes. That's what I think is going to have to happen, so that when you, I mean, that's the power of Daz Studio, is being able to dress your mannequins. But I've never used Daz Studio for. I mean, well, I guess that's not true. I used to use it back. I used to use Poser back in '99 for making artwork directly out of Poser. And it has a very powerful rendering engine, which is great. But never really used it. So, alrighty. So, we're going to have to also work on these pockets. This is going to be our thing. I definitely could use a drawing buddy. Do you want to join me? I think he heard that. Such a poser. I always thought that was a somewhat unfortunate name. No, actually, Brian. Okay, Brian, hang on. I'll be able to invite you. Hang on. They've added a button to invite you. I love this. Going to Facebook, though. The wind is really picking up out there. And it's a cold wind. A cold wind. It was a cold wind. I'm going to bring in Brian here. Hang on real quick. Beep. There you go, Brian. You can just join me. And join me, bro. Join me, bro. And then you'll come in over here on the left side. I haven't had Brian on the show in a while. Brian knows nothing of imposter syndrome. God. Okay. He'll be here in a second. Gonna give him a minute to organize. I'm looking at these pockets and I'm feeling like they are. There's Brian. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a bit.
It's been a bit. Okay, I got your screen up here. Now we got to figure out how to do this so that you're not hogging the screen.
I'm
Screen
taking
hog.
over everything.
I know you're taking over the whole world.
Hey, Brent, how's it going?
There we go. That works. Can I make you smaller? No, I guess I really can't. I can put you here and then put that down there. Wow, I can move these things around a lot though. That's kind of cool. I like the curtain behind you. That's cool.
Thank you.
Prevent you from prevent us from like messing with that. Whatever's going on behind you there. So, how you doing?
I am doing okay. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Uh yeah, I've been on the imposter syndrome this morning because I'm working with my maquettes. And I have to keep reminding myself that I can draw like a normal artist. I really can.
Yeah, I've had the urge to start working on Goat again.
Oh, you'll have to explain what goat is.
So, remember the old Cryptids and Cogs comic that we did way
Uh
back
huh.
in the day? So
Well, I was
mine,
actually really kind of saying that for the benefit of everybody because I
yeah,
remember goat, but yeah.
yeah. So Cryptids and Cogs, my comics for that involved a scientist who inadvertently changed himself
Into a
so
cryptid.
into a cryptid. So his thing was he was the villain where he was creating other cryptids and trying to cure them so that he could fix himself ultimately.
Right.
And I did two comics for it, and I always wanted to expand the story and actually bring in more things to it. And then shit just came down for the last couple of years, and I'm now starting to get back into drawing,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to feel that story again.
And
So I've
by
been
shit,
working
we
on
mean
Agatha.
the big C, uh, which actually is little C, I guess, because the big C is suckier. So
Well, and I've had that one too.
right, that one didn't do you any good either.
Yeah,
So
I've had all the fun games
I
going.
know, right? Yeah. So you're working on Agatha. I feel like this isn't positioning like I want it to. So I am working on modifying the maquettes with pockets. Thanks, it has pockets. So
Now with 100% more pockets.
yep, Shinji. I posted a here's my my latest and final design on my uniforms. I'm not doing this again. And then Shinji's like, so they don't get pockets, and I'm like, crap, I'm doing this again. He was like, so just like that. I mean, I'm not saying anything, but Star Trek trope, and they don't get pockets. And I'm like, damn it,
What about cup holders? Do they get cup holders?
they do get cup holders. I think we had that discussion. It was very funny. Yeah, that was actually a discussion topic before that. It was actually particularly funny that in Orville they get cup holders. So, so the maquettes now are going to have pockets put on them, and I'm going to put the RC thruster packs on them too. So the RC thruster packs are these things, so that they can, um, you know, if they need to, if they get stuck out in space, because their uniforms are spacesuits. They're space capable. So only for about an hour or so. But so what they do is they put emergency oxygen in the ship all over the place. So you can just find emergency oxygen packs all over the place.
Makes
So
sense.
if you don't get spaced outright, you know, then you can just find a hallway, open an emergency oxygen pack, put it on your back, and it immediately gives you another 6 to 8 hours of oxygen for you to get rescued from another ship. But if you do get spaced, then there are these little RC thrusters, so you can at least control your flight outside of the ship, and it should be enough um, enough oxygen and stuff to give you the ability to survive um, or it should be enough to offset being ejected. I feel like my pockets are weird. Like they did the weird thing. They did do the weird thing. They're divoted. They shouldn't be divoted like that. Which means that I'm going to go back into the.
Also, too, do you want the pocket that low? I mean, that's practically at your knee. Shouldn't it be up more in the
Yeah, it's
mid
going to be
thigh
middle
for?
of the thigh. Middle of the thigh. I just looking at the. I haven't placed it totally. I mean, I can move it anywhere still. But yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm noticing that it's doing the funky render thing that happens in when I export from Blender. So I may have to redo the pockets, which is okay. We'll worry about the spats the moment, and then I'll redo these pockets. But when you do a 3D model, I will explain real quick here. When you do a 3D model and you export them as an OBJ, in Blender, it does what they call 4-point, and the way that exporting is by 3-point in triangles. So Blender will take 4 points and put a square in there and understands that. But most 3D programs don't understand that. And so they have to break it into triangles. And sometimes it adds too many triangles and you end up with like these weird convoluted convex shapes. So I just need to go back into Blender and force that to be triangles. It's actually a modifier called triangles. So like
My God,
I
where did
know,
they ever come up with this name?
right? Exactly. Why would they do that? Man. So yeah, but it's clearly weirdly convex or whatever. It's being strange. But you're right, out here is where it needs to be. I'm going to shrink it down a little for her because she has small legs. She's not a big person, unlike Bennett, who was the one that I originally designed these on, who is a normal sized human being. Hey, George, you watching the wind? You
I'm
watching the
feeling
wind?
the wind.
Right? Me too. Come here. Come here. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Come here. You want a box? One shipping container of cat. Hi. So I have this box, and inside it is a cat. Because that's what he wants to do. He wants in the box. He's like, I got to flip over and go the other direction.
What's in the box?
It's a cat.
Cat in a box.
Not like that's an uncommon thing. Aw, I've got a brand new cat. Look at this. Isn't that nice? We'll have a George break. Sometimes I have George breaks. He likes to be scratched. Well, and it does say, if I turn on the names, it will say Guy and sometimes George. don't usually turn on the captions though. I haven't had you here in a while. I could turn on your caption. Look at that.
Wait, yeah, I'm now captioned for everybody's enjoyment.
Right? Well, you've been here before on this one because I mean, like I've got Raph, Pepper, Brian, Colton, Kat. I haven't had Kat on here in a long time. Did you see that she got her comic published? And it's like
No, I didn't know that.
#1 on the charts or whatever. It's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of her. Did a good job. Good job. Left view. Let's get these spats squared away. Yeah, because that's 180.
How's Colton doing? Like, I have not had any connection with anybody in a long time.
Yeah, you're like, hey, there's humans out here.
What is this socialized thing?
Right? That you speak of. And Colton's doing fine. Last I talked, he was going to go see his mom for Thanksgiving, but then that became kind of a frou-frou, and I don't remember what happened. But I mean, it's normal stuff. It's not. I mean, it's not necessarily good stuff, but not. She died of COVID or anything. It's just I don't remember what the story was. Because of course I never remember stories. I keep thinking I'll remember stories and then I never do. I ask people for their stories and then I enjoy their stories, and it's like chocolate. You enjoy it and then it's gone and you're sad. But that's all right. It's the world I live in, I guess. So there's that. So we've got a lot of different controls now, I'm noticing, on this. Like I'm looking around at all these different controls. They've changed the system since the last time that I had a guest on. It's been a while since I've had a guest, and so I'm kind of looking at all these controls and going, because it didn't ever ask me before for my name, you know.
Huh.
So this is new. So there we go. Okay. The spats are in their correct position now, sort of. I go to the left view, right view, right view. So I've been slowly building pieces now. I have a first script in in outline draft, but not first draft yet. So script #1 is an outline draft.
I don't want a mechanical keyboard. I want a steampunk mechanic.
There's nothing worse than a steampunk mechanical keyboard.
And that's the first thing that comes up. Come on. That's not the reference I want.
Right?
Though it is probably the reference I deserve.
So, hey, take a look. I've been showing everybody this. Here, let me show you. I'm going to switch to ring camera here. This is my Olivia. And it doesn't look like anything. But what it is it's a holder for your phone. So it has a widget to hold your phone here, like this. And then it has a light, and it extends up. So what you do is you put your phone here like this, and then you can turn this guy any way you want. So the phone can go this way, or the phone can go this way, or whatever. You can turn it towards yourself, or you can turn it towards the table. And it comes with like a remote, so you can remote click the shutter button or control the lights. These control the lights also on this remote. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because this thing is really cool. It's like I was showing, it can extend a long ways, right? So it's got kind of a lot of a reach, you know, and it's really cool for broadcasting. That's exactly what it's designed for. So it's designed for us to go to like a Starbucks and continue the show.
And where can I pick up one of these mythical creatures?
Right? So I got it as a Facebook widget, like a Facebook ad. So it's called an Olivia, and it's by something that sounds like paparazzi, and I can't remember it now. It's about $100 for this. Comes with the remote. I also when I got that one, it cost me $100. It was like $75, but then another $25 for a microphone that clips onto your shirt and then plugs into the bottom of your phone, so you have a lapel mic, which works really well. I've already tried this once. We went and actually did a Geek Tank episode of all things. But I put that on the table, turned it towards us, turned the light on, put the microphone on a thing right in between the two of us, and the microphone didn't pick up the music in the Starbucks. I mean, it did a little, but not enough for it to trip the, we won't show your thing because you used copyrighted music. So anyway, I just thought I would show you that because you do broadcasting a lot and you do hand drawing. The reason I bought that was because I'm going to starting in 2022, getting together with people, doing shows together or whatever at like Starbucks's and drawing. And so plausibly, you and I could get together, in Firestone or whatever. I think you have a Starbucks in Firestone.
Yes, we do. It is a tiny Starbucks, but it is a Starbucks.
So we may meet. We may meet in like Thornton or something,
Yeah,
someplace north Denver. I'm already relatively north Denver because Arvada is still pretty north Denver. But yeah. But anyway, that was the thought.
I have sent you a thing that you might be interested in.
You did message me. Look at you messaging me. Fountain pens. Oh God.
Oh no, these are even better.
I know, right? I'm just fountain pens. Oh
They
goodness.
have they have manga G pen fountain pens.
Oh, I need those. Are they capsule?
Yes,
Oh,
I
good.
believe so.
2 pieces instead of 3, so no reservoir. Fill and empty the pen from the front. Same nibs. Yeah. I feel like I might need these.
So I,
Because
I
there's,
thought I had run into this place like several years ago, bought
right?
one, and then when it came in the next day, I immediately lost the pen,
Right.
and then COVID happened.
Right. Right.
So I bought another one, and it's coming my way. And this time I'm going to treat it like gold.
Yes.
Get a chain, attach it to my desk. It doesn't leave.
Right. Right. Man, it's only $30.
I have completely derailed the stream, but
You have, because I'm now reading about this because it works on manga G nibs.
yes,
And I could get either the Tachikawa or the Nico G nib. Oh, that'd be so good. Well, they are definitely a want. But at $30, they are achievable. If it was a, $300 thing, I'd be like, well, I'll get it someday.
yeah, and I lost all of my dip pens.
Uh-huh.
So I was looking at having to replace all of my dip pens, and I'm sitting here going, well, I could spend $50 and trying to replace everything, or I could go with one of these pens and effectively have everything replaced anyways.
Right. Right. Right.
And I showed you the little cool thing that I got for Christmas, didn't I?
Yeah. The airbrush. Oh,
Yeah,
look
I
at
got
that.
an airbrush. The
I
nice
think I
thing with
saw
this
that on Facebook. I think you posted that to Facebook.
is it's a portable unit.
Right.
So this attaches here. This
And if
is
you fill that full of whiskey, you can just spray people with whiskey.
I know I'd have to fill the reservoir up with whiskey. This is the air pump.
Oh, it just looks like uh, a what's
No,
it?
this is the compressor part down
Oh,
here. So
wow.
it's a little compressor, and the tank goes up here on top, and then you just press down and away you go.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Why are we all blue all of a sudden?
So yeah, that's one of the snifty things I got for Christmas that I'm using a lot of. It has a good hand feel to it as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it's got a very solid, nice feel. I'm considering an airbrush of some sort at some point. Um, Mostly because I think lighting effects on minis work a whole lot better if you can take the airbrush and
And brush it.
yeah, and just tap really close to the surface of the ship and then have it spray out in sort of a cone. Am I running really slow? Am I choppy to you?
No, not through the site you aren't.
Okay. All of a sudden, my system is super slow. I'm not sure why. Like I'm down to 10 frames a second, maybe 5 frames a second over here. But it's
You're broadcasting in full spectrum.
yeah,
You got all the frames.
I got all the frames. Okay, and Brent says I look good too. So, well, Brent says I'm broadcasting fine. I don't think he says anything about whether I look good or not. There's that. All right, well, I'll just get back to work then and presume that everything is working like it's supposed to. So,
That's the problem. Our head is slightly off.
this is probably the better combo for both of us here. I think I like this setup a little bit better, where you're on the left there, and I've got you at the bottom here, and then I'm up here, and I like this better. We get to watch what you're doing today, because I am just working with maquettes. I need to not work with the pockets because I think I'm going to be fixing these pockets. Or I'm going to actually just see what kind of nastiness they look like. If they look totally really bad, then we may fix them, but we may not. So you've got a steampunk keyboard that you're drawing.
No, well, no. That was just I was looking up references for
I
mechanic
I know, I'm just messing
outfits.
with you.
I mean, if I want, I could put the keyboard right here.
Right?
Have it. No, that still doesn't look good.
That's still not working. Oh man. Okay. We're going to go ahead and place all of these, and then I'm going to set up a render, and we're going to take a look to see if this looks bad or not. We'll see. Brent, you don't look like Jabba the Hutt, dude.
Ho
All right.
ho ho.
Gunta Gunta Solo. All right. And I think everything is in place. So let's put everything on the right spot on her body. Otherwise, we're going to regret that as soon as we move her. Why do I have that? No reason. Okay. Whatever. No idea, but that's fine. Arm, pocket, arm, greave. Oh, that's correct. So let's go ahead and open up the right forearm and the right hand. We need to put the right arm pocket on the right shoulder and the right arm greave on the right forearm. There we go. We'll close that. And what I'm
And
doing
then you
right
shake
now,
it all about.
you
You do the
shake it
hokey
all
poke.
about, hokey pokey and stuff. What I'm doing here is setting up the these things so that they don't move. You want to, if you're using DAS, then what we do here is we're aligning things to the correct locations. So, for example, her greaves, if you will, these extensions on the forearms need to be, of course, attached to the maquette's forearms. So we're going to take the pocket and we're going to do left leg pocket to the left thigh and the right leg pocket to the right thigh. And the left leg spat goes to the left shin and the right leg spat goes to the right shin. And that should make her correctly mobile. And we'll see if we move her and anything does not move with her. Okay, so everything moved. So all the pieces are moving in the correct spot. Now what we do is we go over to poses, Genesis 2, because she's a Genesis 2 pose. And the test of this is to put her in a different pose. There we go. And everything stayed with her, and all the pockets stayed in the right spot, and nothing moved. So that worked.
Well, there you go.
So the model is correct and correctly wired. That's some serious wind. I'm just closing my door because it's loud.
You can't hear it.
Oh, good. Well, that's good. I really am having you are really, really slow on the refresh here. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to bookmark this under my cool stuff. The Ackerman pen. That way I can shut down things that are taking up too much processing power. Because I think right now something on here is taking up a lot of processing power.
Chrome.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is.
So I inadvertently damaged my XP Pen tablet, and so now as I'm working on it, it flickers like the plug isn't seated correctly. Something happened in that area, so
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at picking up a new XP Pen. But man, for the quality, I have loved the XP Pen tablets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for even not even really for the quality, just in general, the XP Pen for a $400 tablet And this is a 22-inch tablet. So it's not tiny. It's as big as my big monitors up here. This is a big, big monitor. And it's so, so good. And it's just been so good to me. I mean, I'm hoping it won't die, but even if it died today, I would still feel like I got my money's worth out of it.
Well, I definitely got my money's worth out of this.
Yeah.
And I've had it for several years now.
Well, that's a very Sailor Moon pose, isn't it? I mean,
In the
complete
name
with,
of the starship, I punish you.
right? Right? I mean, complete with the little V thing. So I think I will render this and draw it. But first, let's go ahead and finish up mapping her properly so that she's not goofy. Because right now she's really goofy. Let's get her surfaces straightened out. I discovered something fascinating about when I went through and looked at my texture maps. There is an eye reflection texture map, which I think I will use. Pupil sclera. We're catching all of the. I think we need the lacrimals too. These things have remarkably complicated setups. So originally, that was Chang's eyes, but I'm thinking I'm going to reuse. I'm going to use uh, the benefit of this eye reflection, which has a different map on it. And we're going to draw that map up and then put the reflection, the light reflection on there, because I can use it and then change it, and that'd be kind of cool. So we've already got this guy up. And so we're going to open. I'm going to take you, open this here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to alter this a little bit. Pray I do not alter it further. Make sure that we've got the correct color for her eyes, which I do not think we do. Yeah, it doesn't look right. Yep, it's not.
Excuse me.
Gesundheit. So one of the other reasons that I want to make sure that I get all of these things correct here on this is I can use the maquette and select the color off the maquette instead of having to bring up my master drawing here with the color codes. See, all the color codes are down here, which tell me what my colors are. But if I make the maquettes the correct colors to begin with, then I can use the maquettes for the color codes. Extraordinarily useful. So we're going to fix Chang's eyes here so that they are the correct colors. Well, I should have done this before. Add a new layer, and this layer then will be a multiply layer at 33, and we'll just put in some black. It's not going to show up as much on here. It'll show up a little. Those folks with the seriously dark brown eyes, as she has, it's kind of hard to. this though. So other than still struggling with various aspects of the universe, how's your world?
Very busy.
Uh,
Been putting in a lot of hours at work, which has been destroying my ability to draw because I come home every night extremely tired and I want to
right,
draw and can't draw and
right.
just
And
fighting that.
I get that. That's a bummer. I've noticed that like on our Tuesdays, you haven't been really able to join a whole lot.
That's because I have to get up at like 5 in the morning every night, every day.
Yeah.
Whoa, what is happening? Okay,
What just happened here?
you must stop, but why?
You're on the wrong layer.
Oh,
We haven't done that yet. And this is the first time we've done that in this show. Well, I mean, for today, not the first time we've done it in the show.
I know I've done it a couple of times on this show.
Yeah. We're about to get a layer check from Brent.
I'm fine.
There we go. There we go. And now what I will do is Control Shift E. No, I will Control Shift E. No, I already did it already. He's like, no, you can't make me do stuff. Hey. I'm gonna save. And then I'm going to open that weird thing that I just found. I got to go find it again, though. In the templates directory.
It's time to take a 2-minute break.
It's time to take a 2-minute break.
Breaks? What are those?
That's where we stand up. Except that I've got a standing desk, so I usually try to walk away for a minute. So I'm going to just walk back here for a second. Just stretch a little. I have had horrible muscle spasms for the last couple of days. They've been pretty brutal. So I'm trying to make sure I stretch everything and walk a lot. It's been hard to sleep because I'll wake up in the middle of the night with a Charlie horse in my calves. Or last night was really weird because the spasm was in the left lower shin on the left side. So like my foot went like this and then cramped. And I was like, really? Really? That's remarkably painful.
There's anatomy issues when your foot flips upside down like
Right?
that.
It's like it's not supposed to do that. What I have gotten that is cool is I've gotten a weighted blanket. It's a 20-pound blanket. And it's awesome because I can bunch it up at my feet, and then it's literally like having a shelf in my bed. So I can just put my feet flat against that like bunch up area, and it holds my feet in place so it can't twist or go weird. Because if the foot can't move, then the calf can't Charlie horse. So that's extremely useful.
I could see it being useful.
So it's been very, very cool. All right. I just discovered this in my templates area. And it says the eye reflection surface is much like the old eye surface material. It covers the entire eye and is used for reflections and highlights that can be shared between textures. So we're going to, the center green area covers the approximate area of the pupil. So this is the pupil right here. It says the blue area shows approximately where the eye highlights will be. Any highlights in the blue and so we only need to be in the blue and the green. So that's where we're going to be. Okay. So I've already added a layer. We're going to turn this layer all black. Bork. And then bring it down so we can see through it. Add a new raster layer. Because, of course, this is all going to be a transparency. So I take our pin. Let's get ourselves a smaller pin, something like this, right? So this is the pupil right here. I can actually see it's rounded here. I don't know why they didn't turn these green, but what we'll do then is not that color. We'll go like this. So there we go. So I'm just adding in a little bit of that. And what I can do with this is just duplicate it. I'll take this dupe over here. We'll move him to the other side. Presuming we have roughly the same critter on both sides here. There we go, just like that. What I think is funny is, you know, we'll do this and we're going to end up with that. Like this entire map is 90%, 99% black and these little white dots. That's it.
You know, I've seen horror pictures that start out that way.
Right? And we will save it to textures, characters. I actually do not know why I don't have a separate folder for her, but I should. Chang Li, we'll put her in here. Eye reflection tier. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is move all of my maps over to her and do that here right now because might as well get the pain over with right now. Textures, because we've got these things all squared away in weird places. So you and you. We'll copy and put you in here because those are definitely Chang Li's face and Chang Li's eyes. And I think her outfit is not specific. So we need to fix that and go in. Oh, a couple of other things we're going to do. The captain, she's wearing right now a line uniform because it's green and blue. And that means she's an officer of the line. But I've been thinking maybe as the captain, she should have something else that delineates her as captain. So it's not just, I mean, I was thinking like Kirk was wearing the wraparound, or at some point in time, he had sort of what looked like scrambled eggs right here. Scrambled eggs is what they usually put on the brims of hats, of caps for like captains and stuff like that in the Navy. And it's just these like leaves or, you know, whatever. Yep. I'll see you later, Brent. And yeah, I'll be back Monday. And maybe Brian will join me Monday. Who knows? Or maybe Brian will work. this could happen.
Uh, Brian will be working.
Brian will be working.
I get 1 day off a week, and
That's
that's
it?
my Thursday. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Do
we
you
are
want to just
so
join me on
hurting for.
Thursdays regularly? Because you could.
Sure,
You don't have to.
I would actually like that.
You are always welcome to join me at any time on my show. I very rarely have a like thing that needs to be done that I must hog the whole screen for. So I am always open for you to join me. You may join me at any time. Okay, so that's the service uniform. I'm going to work on this service uniform piece. And but like I said, I'm thinking like scrambled eggs or something. I'm thinking of scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs. Uh, this is going to be because I've been thinking about the device that she's wearing as well. So this is the Unity patch or the patch that she wears that says that she's part of the Kitty Wake. That's her service patch. And above it should be a device that indicates that she's captain. But I was thinking about this even in like Honor Harrington. Honor, everybody wears a black beret unless they are the captain, which time they wear a white beret. Sort of thing. It's kind of what I'm thinking of here. And just tap that real quick. Go through and clean up some of this. But the thing is, I choose the amount of detail I can display here. So if I make the maquette as detailed as I can, then I can choose to draw all of the little, doodly wops inside the patch if I want to. I can make that choice. So I should make the patch totally detailed. There we go. And doodly wop is a technical term,
Gotta love technical terms.
right? I'm really glad you joined me today. Thank you, Brian.
You're welcome.
I kind of feel like whenever, especially when I'm doing like the 3D model stuff, I feel like it's kind of like, kind of boring. I mean, it's not boring to me, but kind of like, I feel like other people would be like, are we doing that again?
Sometimes that can be a really fascinating part of the process.
Yeah. I mean, certainly. We're going to bring up the torso. I discovered something yesterday. Clip Studio Paint cannot actually load GIFs. I didn't know that.
Well, it can import them. I thought I had one time, and it might have been a previous version where I loaded in and it gave me all the frames for it.
Right? Well, the original texture maps templates are in GIF format. Not that there's anything like there's no animation to it. They're just in GIF format.
GIF.
So I have the templates here, which these templates are awesome because they let me, see where I'm going with stuff. But it's also like I use these, like I'm noticing here, there's a missing line right there. So I like bringing up the templates in here. But yeah, when I tried to load it, it wouldn't open a GIF. I'm sure you're right. We could import
GIF.
it. I didn't even think about that, but I was too busy going, huh? You don't what? Your what hurts? It's like,
Stop.
yeah, right? I'm like, that sucks. Oh well. Oh, that's right. I went over and took these templates and converted them over in Photoshop so that now I can just bring them in. So next week I'm going to have a different opening credits, and I'm actually going to go out and look for more music on Sunday because I've had this same music set for a while now.
Careful, guys. He's getting wild and crazy on you.
Right? All of a sudden it's gone insane.
Flee while you can.
So that's my job on Sunday, is to redo everything. So my show on Monday will be different. And now that I've promised it, you can guarantee that it won't happen. Right? Because I just said this is what's going this is what's gonna happen. It won't happen. So are you okay with the amount of hours you're getting?
Oh, I'm very much not okay with the amount of hours I'm getting. I'm very pissed off about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's originally I was only supposed to be there for part-time because it would
Mhm.
allow me to work on other things, and it slowly become full-time. And now that we have no other help, it is insane hours.
Right.
And it's literally just two people in the kitchen, myself and my boss. That's it. We don't even have dishwashers right now.
So you're washing dishes too.
Yeah. And both of us are starting to feel it.
Yeah.
In fact, the other day, my boss mentioned he wants to close down the kitchen for 2 weeks so that we could take a vacation and get away from the kitchen for a little bit because both of us are really feeling it.
Don't you work though for like? Aren't there people who rely on you for food?
Yes. And so what we're talking about, and that's part of the thing, is uh, bringing in catering
Oh, okay.
while the kitchen's closed, because both of us are really
Over it.
we've been running. Yeah, I've been working 6-day weeks since September, and I've had many times in that time period where I was solo working the kitchen, and I am so done with that.
They're going to burn you out too. This is sort of part of the ongoing problem. Do you at least feel appreciated?
Yeah, particularly with the residents.
Okay. That's at least
But
a plus.
my boss has been irritating me lately, so
Right.
but I'm wondering if that's the exhaustion speaking or if it's, you know.
Right. Right. That's that's a thing. I mean, I worry about that, especially. I mean, a lot of people are in that same boat. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like I worry about people worrying about you. I'm specifically worrying a lot about you because since September we've been like, "Hey Brian, you want to join us?" And you're like, "Can't,"
Yeah.
and it's like that's been particularly,
Frustrating on many, many,
yeah.
many
I mean,
levels.
obviously, it's not killing us at all, but we're worried about you. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want you to feel guilty you can't show up. And be silly, but yeah, it is extremely worrisome. I'm worried about you.
I'm worried about me.
Yeah, right. Like, you're not alone. I'm worried too.
It's
So,
like if this continues much longer, I'm actually going to be putting in my notice with work saying, "Hey, this is too much. This is not what I signed up for."
yeah,
I get that you can't get people in, but I cannot keep this pace up.
right. That's what worries me.
Particularly since September when my arms and hands and all the swelling started going down and I started feeling better and feeling like working
Right.
and then not being able to work because
We've got so
I'm
much work to
working.
do. Yeah. Yeah, that's the part that's unfair. That's that's worrying me a lot. And here we go.
God,
And take this part and I do that. Nope. That's not what we want to do. We want on this layer. Layer check. And darken our fingernails just a little bit. It makes it easier for me to see them. Although, generally speaking, we don't need to see them per se. And then I've got like this mouth template, which makes me think maybe I should do the mouth too. Like each tooth here. Oh, canine upper fang.
and this is when Guy goes down the uncanny valley.
Right. And for the most part, I think we've already kind of decided what all of this looks like. So it should be pretty straightforward to color it. But I've never used this map, and really I should. Because I don't think I've decided what, like her teeth should be sort of the same color as the scalia, should be, this color sort of thing. And I just don't think I've ever thought of it. So we'll do a new layer. And then we'll do another new layer. And then this layer. Because I feel like a couple of things. Like, I don't think I've established what the pink parts of her body are going to be, what color that is. I don't think I've established that at all, which means this is a good thing to do, because there's the upper palate there and her tongue, Looks like a satyr. How's that pronounced? Satyr? Satyr?
Satyr.
Yeah,
Satyr.
satyr. Like the dinner that we have over at Passover.
And I just realized I screwed up a piece on her.
Peace on her, goodwill to men. Wait, what?
No.
Okay, we're just going to make all of her teeth the same color. No reason not to. We'll make this multiply for just right now so we can figure it out. Then we're going to have to go find ourselves a better pink, I think. Because I don't think I've set up a pink for her. Normally, I'd probably use a nipple color of some sort, but because she's Asian, her nipples are a different color.
So wait, you have a nude skin for her?
Well, yeah. I mean, because my comics, man. That's my big pet peeve, is that we are so screwed up about nudity that, we can't have naked people. Oh, my God. Whereas, it's okay to, shoot people. That's okay. That's fine. But naked, no, not naked. So yes, I have a nude skin for her, which is what I actually delineated was I'm going to do all three of the different uniforms here, the dress uniform, the nude uniform, if you will, the nude uniform, and the service uniform, so that depending on what scene I'm doing, I just bring in the correct maquette for it.
Makes sense.
One of the first scenes that I actually did was between Chang and Jen, who was the previous AI, and Jen wakes her up, and Chang doesn't wear pajamas, so the whole scene, Chang's in bed, kind of drinking coffee blearily, and she's naked because I think
is this online somewhere? Like,
not
I
yet.
have not seen this picture, this comic.
I've only done the first 4 pages, so I'm going to finish the pages up, but it's a practice run that I was doing, but it's part of it's canon. It's part of the story, so it's there. I was actually drawing it here online too. I was just like, well, I hope you guys can handle nipples because we got nipples. But yeah, I'll show it to you.
Yeah, so the screw up I had with this, so you look at her and you go, satyr.
Right.
Story, what happened to her was she got half transformed, so she was made into a satyr. Because the doctor was trying to turn her into a goat like he is, and she got half transformed. So like she wears this eye patch over her one eye. Not because she lost the eye, but it's actually a goat eye, so it's rectangle. So she
Gotcha.
wears the eye patch to not scare people.
Right. Not freak people out. That makes sense.
Unless she truly means to, which
I'm sure happens more often than we like.
well, the first So the first couple of pages of this is her assistants showing off her latest creation that she was commissioned to build for this guy, and the guy refuses to pay.
Right?
And so she comes down and just scares the
Things.
living bejesus out of the guy
Right?
because he refuses to pay, even though she not only did everything he was asking for, but also went above and beyond on the design.
Right. Right.
So, he's reneging, which
Fastest way to
works
get
out.
in trouble with the satyr.
Yep. So, what do you think of the Cowboy Bebop live action TV show?
I've only seen a couple of episodes of it so far because it's kind of violent and I have to watch out for my kid. Um, so I've only seen a couple of episodes, but I I didn't like episode 1 as much, but then episode 2 was better.
I think there was a lot more hate than what it deserved.
I don't think it deserved the hate that it got. I think
Yeah.
people I, I don't
I
know.
think people were trying to gateway protect their childhood,
Yeah, I think so too.
and I thought it was really well done. Yeah, there was a couple things I didn't like about it personally, but it
Right.
wasn't enough for me to ruin the experience for me.
Right.
Like the first episode, I thought it was the way they handled the um, that opening.
Mhm.
It really riffed off the movie.
It did. But I mean, it's also and that first scene was exactly why I was like, "Well, I can't watch this with my kid around." It's so funny too because of course they're like, it's safe for kids." I'm like, "That's not safe for kids. There are people on the ground dead. There's blood everywhere." They
Oh,
didn't say
look,
it was
that
safe
guy
for kids.
got sucked out into the vacuum of space.
Right? We've got a couple of problems where things didn't go well for these guys, you know? So, it's actually, I mean, it's fine. I just not.
Was unexpected.
Yeah, I don't mind. Um yeah, I just was kind of like, well, I can't really justify my kids seeing this though.
Well, and it's part of that whole thing of violence is more acceptable than
The nudity, which
the
is the
nudity.
reason why I'm like, yes, there will be nudity in my comic. And you people just need to stop worrying about it. Not you, but
Yeah.
folks. Because I am drawing my comic my way and it will be fine. And so that's the way that goes. I'm like trying to figure out which one's the front. I think these are the fronts. Only reason I say is because I could put some shine in on these teeth and that'd be kind of cool. If I ever get this close to the teeth, it's kind of cool looking. There we go. And then that'll be a quick save. I'll just save this as, and we'll go to maquettes, textures, characters, Chang Li. And we'll go Chang Li mouth. Probably will be everybody's mouth because I can't see going through that detail for everybody. I'll change eyes and eye color and stuff like that. That sounds reasonable, but it seems really excessive to go through all of that for.
Well, and that's one of the things to the anime slash manga style is you kind of develop a formula for your people so that they're faster and easier to draw.
Yep, because we don't have time.
We ain't got time for that.
That's us. Look at us. We literally just said that at the same time. That's us. I'm like, this
Yeah, but
is why you and I are
our
friends.
entire group, man.
This is why you and I are friends.
Yeah.
Because that was where we went.
So what's your time frame for the comic?
Well,
Because like it seems like you've been working on this for years now, and you haven't gotten very far. Now, mind you, this is the pot calling the kettle black.
Right. So this was a COVID project. So it hasn't been years on this one. Because what happened was I had gone down in 19 to see my dad. And he and I were sitting around the kitchen table. And I was talking about Tamerlan. And because he was saying, are you ever going to make a comic? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, maybe. And we were talking about Tamerlan. And he said, how many pages of Tamerlan did you write? And I said, about 300. He's like, but that's a Star Trek comic, isn't it? I said, yeah. And he's like, well, why'd you do that? You can't sell it. It belongs to CBS. And I said, well, because it was, a thing. I don't know. Kind of really did the shut up, because he was right sort of thing. And he said, well, why don't you do what McFarlane did with Orville? Because I had been showing him Orville. And he said, why don't you just take your Star Trek stories and redo them as, not Star Trek, but Star Walking a lot or something, His point being that I could rename it to anything I wanted and redo the world and stuff like that. And so I decided, since we weren't going anywhere when COVID, because that was Christmas time 2019. And of course, right away, we went right into COVID and everybody went into lockdown. Nobody went anywhere and nobody was going anywhere. And so Pepper and I started doing this daily show right about that time. And, it was just going to be an artist check-in on Friday where Pepper was going to check in with me and we were going to give ourselves goals for next week and yada, yada, yada. And I decided, I think Dad's right, but if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make my world. Like, I'm really going to do this, put everything that I've ever wanted to do. I keep referencing Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy games that came out in Japan, literally Final Fantasy 1 has everything in the kitchen sink thrown into it because it was everything that guy liked.
Well, and the other part of that story with Final Fantasy, right?
And that they were dying, and this was it.
Yeah,
their last chance.
Literally, the Final Fantasy this was the final game they were gonna make before they shut
the doors.
Square Enix down.
Right.
and it
But
became this bestseller.
right. But the concept that I kind of came up with was that I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, let's go on ahead and do everything. You know, let's throw the kitchen sink into this one. Let's put everything in there. I like spaceships. We'll have spaceships. I like mecha. We'll have mecha. I like uniforms with this shade of blue because this is my favorite shade of blue. So we will do blue and green together because it's my favorite color combination. You know what I mean? Like everything mixed together. Then I'm going to take all the characters from Tamerlane and move them directly over and give them the same story plots so that I don't have to rewrite the scripts too terrible much, and then put it all together. And so that's what has been my 2020 and 2021 project was world building. So I went through and built everything. I built star maps, and Brent will complain about those because he hates the star maps. Mostly because I spent literally like 3 weeks on star maps trying to get the math right. Because so anyway, the long and the short of it is we're coming to fruition now. I have built the world that I like. It is my Final Fantasy world. It literally has aspects of every story I ever wrote in it. It's very funny. Um, One of the things also that happened was I've been consolidating all of my work over the last 30 years into one folder so I can find everything because it's been scattered over hard drives forever. And I keep finding backups. And I'm like, oh, hey, I remember doing this project. So, I'm just dumping everything into one big folder. So doing
Yeah,
so, I was like, oh, I like that story plot. I like that plot concept. I like that plot concept. And so I've been pooling them all together and making a large overriding plot concept. So the answer to the question is 2022 is when we're launching this. That's the long version or the short version of it. But I wanted to explain why it was that, yes, you're right. I have been working on this for 2 years, but it was intentional. That
I
was
hope
in,
at some point you get back to witches.
witches. Yeah, the problem with witches, I love witches. The problem is, have you seen For All Mankind on Apple Plus?
No,
It's witches.
okay,
So I'm going to have to come up with a different concept.
screw
Not
that.
totally just different, but
No, no,
something.
keep the same one. Who cares? I mean,
Well,
really, who cares? Once it gets past you, you have enough difference in that story where, yeah, someone could go, oh well, you're just doing this, but you've been working on it for so long, and
yeah.
there's so much material in there that just when you get done with Tamerlane, pull the trigger on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not letting it die. I just, I need to put some distance on it for me to not mimic, I guess is what I should say. Because it's For All Mankind is written by Ron Moore, who is one of my favorite writers. He wrote most of the good stuff in Deep Space Nine, the best episodes of TNG, and he wrote Battlestar Galactica, the new Battlestar Galactica. Um, so he's writing For All Mankind, so it is spectacular. And now I'm having kind of inadequacy problems. I don't feel like my story is that sharp yet. So part of it is, yes, I absolutely agree. But I want to put some distance on there first. So, and besides, this is my own IP. This is my own world. I'm actually kind of having fun doing this right now. So
Makes
that's
sense.
cool. But I'm not letting witches die. I'm not letting witches die at all. There's no way I'm letting that die. I think there's still story to tell. The For All Mankind is set up the same way as Witches in that it's a suppose we didn't make it to the moon first. It's taking a nap. Yeah. Brent's like, it's taking a nap. Um, the theory was, on For All Mankind was that imagine what would have happened if the Russian N1 worked. And the Russian N1 was the Russian version of the Saturn V. So the whole point was they get to the moon about 2 weeks before Apollo 11. So they beat us to the moon. But
Okay.
because of that, his main characters are the flight of Apollo 10. So they feel guilty that they should have landed. They could have landed. They had a landing site planned, but NASA said, let's be safe. We'll do Apollo 11 landing instead of you guys, which is what really happened in real life. It's just that it didn't matter that much because Apollo 11 beat the Russians anyway. But in For All Mankind, the Russians beat us to the moon. So they keep going and they establish a base there, and we have to establish a base there. And then, the Cold War heats up, and then accidentally one of our Marines shoots one of the Russians, and, this kind of stuff goes on, and all kinds of things are happening. And, it's really interesting, and he's done a really good job of doing that. And I didn't think I was that deep. But the difference is he does address bringing women into the space program. That is addressed, but it's not addressed as solidly as I was addressing it. So I still think I have an edge. I still think it works. I just need to rethink it and kind of come up with more of the stance on that, put more weight on that part of the story than the telling of what would have happened if we didn't, because of course the what if isn't new either. I was looking at stories that were written about what if we had gone to the moon and then to Mars on Apollo program or Apollo technology. I was looking at stuff like that was written in the 70s. So that's not new necessarily. I just need to. I felt like my angle on it was women, the women in space, bringing in women astronauts. That was my angle. I felt like. So anyway, the TLDR on this is you're right. Don't worry. I'm not letting it die. I just need to think it through a little bit more. And this guy has a lot more that I'm working on right now.
Yeah. Well, I've kind of had a similar consolidation, like
Mm-hmm.
particularly since I kind of want to divorce this comic from what RTG was doing.
Yep.
And so I was thinking, what can I do with this? And I've been sitting on this concept that I've been working on for a while called Farlands of Nilf. And I went, you know what? What if I brought these characters into the Farlands? Because that would be, I mean, it's kind of a dark setting. Things like that isn't inappropriate with what I'm going with this story. It would actually fit in the Farlands really nicely,
Right.
considering everything that's happened. Um, and so it's letting me world build Nilf and maybe get Nilf published
I
as
think
an
that's
RPG
awesome.
setting. So I might have two things come out at once.
Right. That's the other thing is that I have a concept for an RPG for this. And a card game. I've showed you the card game.
Yeah.
So the card game was my other card game that I was making, and it just fit so nicely in this universe. And I was just like, well, there you go. So, yeah, there's a lot more product that I can generate for the Bellatrix Rising universe. So, But I think, and you were saying MILF with an N like November, not MILF with an M like Mike, right?
No, it's NILF.
Okay.
NYLTH.
NILF. Okay. Not MILF.
No,
MILF.
no, 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 no.
Just saying.
No.
Thanks. Because
Similar
I'm in,
sounding, completely different spelling.
and meanings. And
And meanings,
meanings.
yes.
Oh,
Boy,
man.
you could really you, you could really see the backup that we've had with our ports and shipping really come through in Michael's.
Yeah.
They're having an 80% off clearance sale on Halloween decorations.
Wow.
The ship finally came to port
Right?
with all of the Halloween decor.
Poor Michaels. I feel so. It's been really weird watching all of these people suffer so much. I mean, I don't, and I mean that in a, it
Well,
sucks.
well, and I'm definitely feeling it. It's like I have one board game and 3 RPGs I bought that are stuck in shipping.
Yeah, stuck somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like I might see it maybe someday if I'm lucky.
Yeah, I was actually really worried for a while there. I had my I've got a ball that I'm going to tomorrow. It's a formal, and I have the insurrection mess dress uniform I'm going to wear. And I was worried because I was like, I've got to order it, and it was coming in from China, and I was like, ugh, is it going to get stuck in shipping? You know. And
I
I
probably
knew,
did.
no, it's here. It made it here, and we actually, and I knew we had to make modifications to it because it's cosplay, so they slap it together a little bit, and to make it actually screen accurate, my wife had to spend most of yesterday on it, and she did an awesome job putting in all the gold on it because they just put kind of like, I don't even know, but it looks like tinfoil. It's horrible. It's like this bright gold trim, so we have to dull the trim down and stuff like that. And we got it. We got it under control, but it still was the same thing. It was like, I hope I hope it doesn't get stuck out in the middle of Nowheresville. You know. Hoping I can finish this before the show ends, because we are going to move into the hotel today for that, because it's a non-discon function.
Oh, okay.
So I have to go help the rest of the NDK staff set up for it.
I'm
Thanks,
sitting there
Art
like
Wife.
I'm like hotel, but NDK passed. Why are you going in?
Yeah, it's they have for the last, well, I think since about 2007 or so, they've been doing New Year's Eve, where everybody gets together, and it's a cotillion sort of style thing where it's cosplay, but you have to, it's cosplay formal. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into Chang Li. We're going to call this uniform, and I'll just fix this anytime I have to fix this. That'll be fine. And then we'll kill that. And then we go back to her service uniform, and we haven't quite figured out what we're doing here. these guys. These guys we're going to have to figure out what to do about too.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Should I rewrite the 2 pages of Cryptids and Cogs, or the 2 comics for that, or should I just leave them alone? Because they don't really relate themselves to Cryptids and Cogs, except for maybe the last page where I don't really reveal Colton's characters.
Did you ever publish?
Yeah. Yeah, I got an entire comic by myself,
Yeah.
but it never
Because you
really saw
really couldn't.
circulation.
Right.
So like I have a box of those comics sitting in my storage.
Well, I feel like if you've already published it and you have a bunch of copies, I'd sell those as they were. And maybe redo the last couple of pages so that it fits, and then do a compilation, my thought. Because you've got the
Okay.
pages. They're already there. If you're asking whether it's like a copyright issue, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
No,
I'm
I was
thinking
just
more
worried
along the
about.
lines.
I was just worried about what cryptids and cogs would do, but that's kind of a dead issue.
It's a dead issue. But my thought is, use the artwork to your advantage. We've already got it. Don't rewrite it.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would think that, we could. My thought is, take everything but the part where you introduce Colton's character and rewrite that to fit a hook into your current story or whatever, so you can use it to your advantage. That's my thought on this. You can take or leave it.
No, I think I'm taking what you're saying to heart.
Yeah, I mean that's my thought is that, don't waste it. We definitely don't want to waste that. It's a lot of good work. And it would make people sad if you it'd make you sad, I think, more than anything, because you'd be like, oh, I gotta redraw all this.
I gotta do this again. Oh.
Oh God, why me? I think this has solved a lot of my problems. I've been trying to figure out how this Mandarin collar works because of my confused maps that were all of the setups instead of just one. I was getting really confused about the collar because it was different. It's a different setup on the dress uniform. So when we're in the dress uniform, it looks slightly different because of the way it connects to the double-breasted piece of the uniform, which I haven't done anything with this yet. So I'm just trying to make it work here. But like I said, I feel like she needs scrambled eggs or something to indicate that she's the captain, and it's got to be a different uniform slightly. But I don't think a big difference, but something that. So maybe we will take, because I have this yellow. Let's go here. And like right at her collarbone, put in sort of like wings. That may be too high. I think that's too high. Yeah, that's on her neck. We'll put it right here. There we go. I had to put my Alexa back into English mode. It was very sad. For a while there, she was in Japanese mode, and that was cool. But unfortunately, Amazon does not support Japanese mode. And so,
That's weird.
yeah, so it won't run routines in Japanese. And I live my life with my Alexa making sure that I take my medicines and and take all of the various things. So it's kind of I don't have a choice in the matter really. So I had to switch it back today to English. That made me sad. She gets a gold star being a good captain.
Here's your gold star. It's my favorite quote from frickin' Adventure Time.
There we go. This is the other good thing about a maquette is that I'll always remember that I need to put all of this stuff on her uniform because it'll always be on her uniform,
Hang on.
We'll go over a little bit since he's on the phone. What does a kitty wake look like anyway? Does anybody know? Looks like a seabird. It looks like a seabird, like all other seabirds.
Yay, I'm back.
You're back and you have the secret to the air shield.
Yes. The code is 12345.
Sounds like something an idiot would have on his luggage.
Gotta love Spaceballs. 12345. That's amazing. I have the same combination on my matched luggage.
That's the best part about it is to like come back on it later. Like, wait a minute.
So I went back during Halloween. I went and watched Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Right?
And that is a movie which is criminally underrated. I mean, they bashed the hell out of that poor thing, but you watch it now, it's a really funny movie.
Right? It's actually, I remember that one too. Mm. I'm putting a kitty wake on her patch. I actually looked up kitty wake. Like, that's what a kitty wake looks like. Okay. So, I'm going to put a little kitty wake on her patch, which, by the way, a kitty wake looks pretty much like a slightly fat seagull. That's what a kitty wake
Slightly fat.
I mean, really, that's pretty much what a kitty wake looks like. Slightly poofy, slightly floofy seagull. So there's that. Yeah, I'm going to go a little over. I think I'm going to go a little over because I want to try to finish this. So I think that's totally fair. I mean, I've got to pack and stuff like that, but
well, it's not like people will die if you don't show up.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and we have to wait for my kilt anyway, so.
Cleared from show.
There we go. A completely indecipherable thing in Tamarbeshi, because that would make sense. I like that. That works. Shapely legs. Yup, it's time for my shapely legs.
Giggity?
I'm giddy about my shapely legs. I'm going to spend some time on this because here's the first time we've actually seen the service patch for the Kitty Wake. And before this, it's just been pretty much a pentagon. No, I don't like that. Although, since there is something I have to do, it won't be long before my wife comes up here and says, "Where are you? Why are you not doing your things?"
Oh, you could say I am doing my things.
Right? The thing is, we're doing so good on this. I feel like. And the most important person in this story is Chang. So she's the most important character. So spending a little extra time on her maquette isn't a bad thing. Because I'll be spending a lot of time with this maquette. And to be fair, I mean, I can take this maquette's um, maps, and then I'm making lots of progress. But honey, I'm making progress. And that goes over really well. No, it really doesn't. Oh well.
I hate when you have a little space that causes like you have a gap in your lines, and so when you go to fill it, you know that there's a major error. When you go to fill it, it just pauses,
Right. And you're like, uh-oh.
and you have all that time to think
To, re-
about it
to regret your life choices.
that's led to this moment.
Right. So the kittiwake has sort of gray wings and a white body. So I'm kind of mimicking that here on the patch. There we go. I kind of like the. I was looking up pictures on of the kittiwake online, and there was a picture. Yeah, I'm still broadcasting.
Oh, okay.
I was like, my wife will be here in a minute. I know she will. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah. I like that a lot.
I was going to put some of the gold ribbon on it too. And then because we are worried, I made it so it accommodates a filter.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
I thought that was pretty clever. But yeah.
I think that'll look
So that's
really
what
cool.
I did this morning. Do hotel rooms have microwaves?
I don't know.
I don't
I mean, yes,
either.
some do, but I don't.
You don't know if this
I don't.
one does.
I haven't been to this one yet, so I have no earthly idea what this one's doing.
Okay, I will try not to plan on having a microwave.
Yeah, that's probably our best bet. Might not even have a fridge for all we know. So, if it doesn't,
I have
though.
never seen a hotel room without a fridge.
Oh well, you haven't been to enough hotel rooms.
I guess.
But we'll see. I mean, who knows?
I mean, that seems very not classy.
Right. Yeah, well, that's uncool.
Right. I'm gonna go to the store.
Okay, I'll be out of this soon. I'm still waiting for the package to show up.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be another hour or two.
Which is good. It only took me a minute to.
With how the ascot looks. Well, I tried it on with the outfit this morning, and it's a little bit. I don't know.
Floofy?
looks shoddy.
Oh. Do you want to try something else, or?
I don't know.
Hey, you know what you could do? Remember what I was saying about take the blue ribbon and cross it like a tie in the front, and then put the jewels in the center?
And this is when we're getting into all important cosplay conversations.
Yep, this is the cosplay conversation part of our show. I'm trying to get my wife to match me. It's very funny because I don't think she's necessarily on board with that. She's not on board. I'm just not sure she's necessarily on board. So it's kind of funny. But I've got all the blue trim on my uniform because I always go as sciences. I don't know where art belongs, so I would assume if you were an artist in Starfleet, you'd be in the technical design bureau of some sort or another. So, which probably would be more engineering.
No, that'd probably get its own color. It wouldn't necessarily be red.
Yeah, well, that would be, yeah. And so it's kind of one of those listed under, I'm not 100% sure. So I just picked blue because I like blue. So there's that. Anyway, so needless to say, did I go for darker? No, that's already darker. Civilian. You just get drummed right the hell out. So anyway, all of my uniforms, my Star Trek uniforms, tend to be blue. You know, I wear sciences shirts and stuff like that. And so when we did my dress uniform, we got it and it had no division colors at all on it. So we had to go get ribbon to put around the cuffs, and then the trim around the collar needs piping and, you know, stuff like that. So anyway, here we go. Look at that. She's actually got like an actual badge now. Isn't that cool?
Yay!
And now we know what the Kittiwakes patch looks like. So that was important. And she's got not scrambled eggs per se, but sort of scrambled eggs going for her here. So let's go ahead and save as into Chang Li and say Chang Li service uniform. And we'll save that. And then we will save as. This also needs to be over in maquettes, textures, characters, Chang Li. And this is the uniform, Unity uniform. We'll go for Chang Li on this. If I don't save all of these, I'm not gonna remember what the heck I was doing.
You come back to it later. You're like, where is all this work?
Right? So I'm making sure now everything is saved properly so that I don't have to worry about it later. I don't have to worry about it. So and then we will save as. Is that the front door? Did you open the front door?
Yeah, and then I decided that I wasn't ready to go.
Okay. Um, everything you're doing now reminds me of things I need to fix with my Alexa
Um,
because she just went Genkan Arai Agai Masu, and I was like, whoa.
whoa.
I was like, well, there's that. So, not half as cool as it should be.
Yep. All right. I was going to remind you that you have many other jobs than just.
I'm trying to save these so that I'll remember where I was when I get back to it next week, because I know that we will have a lot of things that we're doing over the weekend, and by the time I get back here, I've got to remember this is a big project I was working on, so trying to remember where everything is. So I'm saving everything in the proper place. Okay.
If you think of anything you want me to grab from the store, that goes to both of you.
You got it. Good luck. Good hunting.
Stand out more.
There we go.
I was going to tell you, I have a theory of what happened with the dishwasher.
Uh-oh.
So the way you put in the cookie sheets, the spinner couldn't spin.
Oh. But that couldn't have happened both times.
I mean, it could have. I don't
It
know.
could've.
I can't guarantee. I'm aware of that issue, so I try not to do that. But
That's gotcha. I was not aware of that issue.
yeah, so I only put the tall cookie sheets on the very outer spot because then the spinner can still spin.
Okay. That works. Okay.
We can try that and see if it fixes it.
Right. Right. We're going to keep going for just a little while longer. There's the front door being front and Dory. There we go. Now her eyes are the right color. Look at that. Actually looking correct. No, the little door wasn't opening, and so we were trying to figure out what the problem was with it. And we came to the conclusion that it was a problem with the spinner not spinning because I put the cookie sheets in. So I'll have to see.
So it was a partial UTS error.
Yep. It's going to get more complicated as time goes on. Oof. Okay, gums, inner mouth, teeth, tongue. We're going to try out this new thing we've got, right? We got brows in the Changli directory, mouth. Now she should be fine if we take posing, pose controls, and make her smile. Or mouth open. Yep, that looks right. Mouth open wide. Tongue
Whoa.
looks good.
That's just creepy.
Yep. Looks like the tongue is correct. And her mouth looks good. Her gums look good. I feel like a dentist. Your teeth look good. Solid. Okay. The uvula, she's got that. See, I'll open her mouth again. There
There
we
you
go.
go.
See? There's her uvula right there. So she can go ah, and singy. It's kind of weird looking by itself, but okay. So, okay, we fixed that. The next piece we need to fix surfaces. So, ears. We need to make sure we're in the correct folder for her ears. There we go. Eyelashes have no setup at this point in time because I don't actually use the eyelashes. Feet, fingernails, forearms, legs, shoulders. Yes, I think so. Toenails, hands. What else is on this guy? Brows. Characters Chang Li, limbs. Here we go. Now our hands are the correct color. And her feet should be the correct color. And that actually is looking pretty cool. So, okay. It's not the right one. So we'll go in here.
Wow, that was kind of a cool color.
Okay, let's do the body. Hips. Through here. I wish these were sorted by the way that the maps work so I wouldn't have to guess all the time. The good news is, like I said, you just do this once and you don't do it again, you know. Torso, nipples, because that's a thing. Because you can make those a different color if you want. And I think that's it. Just those three. Rose, Chang Li. There we go. Much more accurate. We've got her little scrambled eggs things going for her. Looks better. All right.
That
It's
actually
like a
came out.
solid maquette there. She's actually starting to look pretty good. And save as scene subset. I'm going to save it as service dash Chang Li. Wants to know whether I'm copying everything to it. I am. Accept. Now, when I go to Bellatrix Rising, actual, I should have service Chang Li. There we are. So that's Chang Li in her service uniform. The question really is, do I want to raise the scrambled eggs later? I might want to raise those scrambled eggs a little later. Because they're a little low, I feel. Feel like they should be on her, just below her collarbone. Wonder if I should give her like a gold stripe on her commander stripes. Like you get an extra stripe or whatever. An extra gold stripe to say you're in command. Well, there's that. Okay. I feel like that has solved now all of my issues, so to speak. So I feel like we are secure at this point, being able to pick this up next week on Monday and continue on. The hard part's always the first one. The first one's always the worst because you got to go through and then everybody else can just be a copy of that. You just copy all of them, the textures, move them to another folder, rename them all, and then go through and just edit them until they all fit properly. So I'm not as worried about moving on to the next set of textures. Everybody's going to be wearing the same shade of blue, and anybody who's an officer of the line is going to be wearing green. Otherwise, they're wearing the purple lavender of being not on the line. So there's that. I haven't decided whether doctors are wearing white or not. I like Discovery's. Discovery's been putting the doctors in white, and I think that's really cool. I think that's nifty. So there is that. You are sending me stuff.
Yes, I am.
Yay! I like the pictures. Yay. Cool. Perfect. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Brian. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me on.
And you can definitely join me every Thursday if you feel so inclined. And we can just work together the entire time. I'm totally on board with this.
I'm on board with it as well. Because I want to start doing more stuff.
Right. That's a thing. That's a thing. We got to do all this stuff and do the stuff. So, okay, well, thanks for joining me, Brian. Thanks for joining me, Brent. Good to see you. And I think somebody else is out there too. And thanks for joining me, somebody else. And I won't be broadcasting tomorrow, obviously, because it's New Year's Eve and I'm going to be at a hotel. But I will be broadcasting next Monday after the snowstorm, which we're finally going to get. Of course.
Finally.
At the last day of the year, we're going to get a snowstorm. So anyway, I'll be back Monday and I'll see all you guys later. And until then, as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye. Computer, good night.